Yo, what is up, guys? So today I'm here to showcase off a new 2020 Master Rule Hero Synchro variant. So it actually is a very similar hero deck, and the reason why I put it in quotations is because it's basically just Mali. Because at the end of the day, that's what Teledad really utilized. Mali was super OP, and on top of that, now we have access to Destrudo, a newer card. But on top of that, with the new Master Rule, you're actually able to do some really nasty things up on your opponent, with of course being able to reset certain cards, which you guys will see here in the gameplay. So this is a Ultimate Tzokin. What it allows you to go ahead and do is, well, now we're copying the effect of Ultimate Tzokin, but what it comes down to is when you set a spell or trap, you're able to go ahead and actually bring out a 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster, which can be Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. One thing that I think is super overpowered that not any of you guys really probably know about is Scrap Iron Signal works with Tzokin to reset itself infinitely, and you can keep on bringing back level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchros, because this card, when it activates and negates a monster's effect, as long as you control a Synchro monster that requires a Synchro monster as material, you gotta go ahead and just bring out another monster. Like, how OP is that? And this card, it doesn't go away. You can just keep on activating it, but it obviously has to be activated once per turn. But if you have access to that, I mean, your opponent pretty much loses at this point, right? There's just way too many negations to go ahead and really combat. But like, that combo was so nasty. In fact, when I first saw this video, I was like, okay, this is kind of like Teledad in 2020, because at the end of the day, Dark Armed Dragon doesn't really do too much on your opponent's turn. In fact, it does absolutely nothing other than act as a 2800 attacker. If Dark Armed Dragon, they need to make a Dark Armed Dragon version 2. It needs to have 3000 attack and have its effect be a quick effect. Maybe only like, you know, once during your turn, once during your opponent's turn, or something like that. But nonetheless, it allowed you to clear board and go for games. But in this deck, you're going to be able to go ahead and just go for game anyways, or you can go ahead and set up a board where your opponent can't really Yu-Gi-Oh anyway. So in this instance over here, this card is going to be a extra negation. So we have 1, and then this is going to give you another one because we're going to bring out another monster. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is kind of like 6 in a sense, and maybe 7, because you'll see what happens over here. So you'll see there is the Desert Locust over here. So if this card is Synchro Summon, the turn player discards 1 card. So your opponent actually goes -1. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because you can actually give your opponent the ability to basically get rid of a card and throw it into the graveyard. But nonetheless, it does technically make them go -1. And then also, we're actually utilizing the Dragon Knight Draco quest with the Miracle Synchro Fusion to actually copy the effect of Tzokin, because this card has the effect when it's fusion summoned. It must first be fusion summoned, then once per turn you target a dragon type synchro monster graveyard, and then you banish it and you copy its effect. So that's how we're getting the effect of Tzokin multiple times. And this card is actually so broken in the new Master Rule, because it doesn't lock you down, which you know, normally with that card you just really couldn't utilize it in Link era, because, well, you would go ahead and require yourself to not only make that card, which isn't the easiest thing to make, but on top of that, you had to give it at least 1 zone for itself and 1 zone for the other Synchro monster. And then you couldn't really bring out an additional monster during your opponent's turn. But unless, as far as the heroes go, it's basically just Mali and Vion. And again, since there's Plague Spread here, it just reminded me of how Teledad basically played. But before, they'd always go Stardust Oppression. That was like kind of like the go-to setup, is to make like a Synchro monster and then also have Royal Oppression so your opponent could not Yugioh. But nonetheless, with Cloth Thief over here, we're actually able to bring back another monster. And then with the Coral Dragon here, if you happen to be going second and your opponent makes a board, obviously you can go ahead and get rid of a card through that. And on top of that, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can actually deal a lot of damage if your opponent happens to have another monster. But again, what it really comes down to is Scrap Iron Signal with this card. It's just way too OP. It's such an easy combo to go ahead and pull off. And then just get out double Crystal Wings. And then on top of that, you have Void Ogre Dragon, which is great with Into the Void because you don't have any cards anyways, right? The opponent is just like, dude, I can't even play. We've got 3 negates, 4 negates, 5 negates, 6 negates, 7 negates. Really, really good stuff. Now, this one is a really insane board. I saved the best for last for you guys. But anyways, this is getting pretty out of control. At least that's how I feel with the new Master Rule changes. I've shown off so many gameplays of just boards that are just like unfair, right? Whereas, well, technically the Red Dragon Archfiend, the King Calamity, I think is the most OP because your opponent literally cannot activate any cards, which this guy's probably going to go ahead and try to do. But is it going to be happening? Well, we'll see. Because nowadays with Yu-Gi-Oh, if you don't have hand traps, you just straight up lose. There's just too many decks that can make these boards that are nearly unbeatable unless you go ahead and get into Biru, a Dark Ruler no more. It's just not looking too good for you. But nonetheless, SLAYDRA coming out. Again, once again, we're copying a quest. We're going to go reset a card. You can keep on realistically resetting the Phoenix Blade as well. You can just make it go to the grave if you utilize it. And then activate it. So you set it, you activate the effect of it, then you use a monster as material for like a link play, and then you can reset it later when you re-add back the card. So once again, that card, dude, is too good. But it doesn't matter. He's not going to be able to, he literally cannot Yu-Gi-Oh over here, so he's going to go ahead and get stopped by that Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. I'm surprised he didn't quit out. Most people probably left once they saw that board, but he's still going off over here. We got the Mally coming back, and now we're going to make another Tzokin. Coral Dragon, I'm going to go ahead and get that effect, and, well, it's game over, man. But that was a really cool showcase off, and I know some of you guys want that deck profile, so I'm here to give it to you guys. But while I was looking at this, I was like, dude, I could actually make this more of a hero variant. Well, at the end of the day, it is still technically like a heroes, because without Mally and Vion, these two heroes, this deck would not be like what it is, right? But at the same time, like, well, you know what? Hero Lives would easily fit into this deck, and you can activate Hero Lives and instantly just go right into Shadow Mist, and then on top of that insane board, you would also have, in addition to that, Dark Law, which pretty much secures the deal on most games anyway. So I think that I wouldn't mind playing Hero Lives in this deck, and I was even thinking, since Vion lets you go ahead and get that Poly, you can actually try to make it more of a hero variant if you want to, just in case any of you guys did watch the video and were kind of expecting more of like the Hero Fusion monsters. It's basically a Hero Synchro deck where we're basically using the heroes as stepping stones, specifically Malicious, to go ahead and make Tzokin that for making all of our Synchro plays a lot more viable and much more consistent. I was also thinking about if you wanted to play more heroes, instead of going for a Bow of the Goddess, what you would do is you would make a Sara Yugioh, then special summon whatever hero that you want to go ahead and go for, and then on top of that with Liquid Man you can use it as material and then go ahead and draw 2 cards, cycle through stuff with like Destrudo. Obviously Mally's great to have in the graveyard as well, and you can make it more of a hero deck variant, and you can go ahead and throw in Miracle Fusion. Also, if someone knows about this down below in the comment section, let me know, because I didn't actually try it yet. I do plan to try to make a hero variant of like a Dark Armed Heroes is what I want to call it. But I was thinking, since this card over here, Sunrise, lets you go ahead and add a Miracle Fusion. Does that actually include Miracle Synchro Fusion? I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but in the off chance that it does, wow, this deck would be even better, because then you can combo Draco Request as a searchable, activate this, and the deck would get even better. But again, I'm not positive if that does or does not work. Someone comment down below. But these are other cards I was considering when I first saw the deck over here. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile now that I kind of briefly ranted about the heroes, because just in case, again, someone wanted to play heroes, I will leave a link down below for another hero deck variant. But this was obviously for Master Rule 5, aka Master Rule 2020. Anyways, Destrudo, 1 copy, 3 copies of Malin, 1 copy of Grepher, 1 copy of Armageddon Knight, triple copies of Vion, 3 copies of the Neo Space Connector, and 3 copies of Jump Forward, 1 Aqua Dolphin, double copy of Plague Spreader, 1 copy of Polymerization, 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Foolish Boreal Gooses for the Golden Bamboo Engine, 3 copies of Miracle Synchro Fusion. And also, just as a heads up, if you have this card as a dead card, just set it. If it's destroyed, you get to draw a card. Quite nice. And then we got 3 copies of Golden Bamboo Sword, 1 copy of Reborn, 3 copies of Into the Void, 2 copies of World Legacy Succession. This card doesn't really count, it's just so you can play the new Master Rule. And then we have 3 copies of DDR, this is for, of course, your Power Tool plays. And then we have Moon Mirror Shield, Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade, Living Fossil, Broken Bamboo Sword, 3 copies of Cursed Bamboo Sword, 2 copies of the Scrap Iron Signal, which opens up the doors for those crazy ultimate Tzokin plays. And then yeah, okay. As far as extra goes, we got Draco Quest, 2 copies of Tzokin, 1 copy of Void Ogre, 1 copy of Savage Dragon, 2 copies of Crystal Wing, 1 copy of Power Tool, 2 copies of Coral Dragon, 1 copy of Desert Locust. I don't know how I feel about this and Needle Fiber. Honestly, I feel like they are kind of unnecessary. I think instead of this, you could potentially utilize some better stepping stones and actually make it, again, more of a hero variant where you could actually throw out Dark Law, because I feel like this card, in addition to these plays, would just basically see the deal on majority of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. But After that, we have Apollos, and like I said, you could Star Yugioh and do other things. You could even throw in Blaze Man. That would actually be a fantastic card to go ahead and summon, because that card gets effect with normal or special to add the poly, therefore going to all these other plays. And then we have Claw Thief, which I definitely recommend to play, because when you go for a fusion, you're going to bring back a level 4 lower monster from a graveyard, which is usually going to go ahead and bring Plex Burner Zombie, so you can go ahead and continue on your combos. And again, these cards down here weren't in the deck, but they were there because I thought that they would be cool additions to the deck, especially with the new Master Rule. Sea Monster of Thessus becomes infinitely better because it doesn't clog up those zones. But anyways, I want to give a big shout out to StardustYGO for hooking me up with the gameplay as well as the deck profile, and I'll leave him down below if you guys want to go and check him out. He's always giving me spicy content, so thank you, man. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you are new here, hit subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on new Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you guys want to send me other replays of newer Master Rule decks, I love checking out what you guys in the community make, and send me in some Telenet 2019 or 2020 now. We're in the future here. We got the new background with the anime girl. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Have a good one, and I'm out. Peace.